Okay, guys, welcome back. Happy Freya's Day. We have been busy all day. I've been cooking and cleaning, and Asmodeus is back. I had to do some Dark Night of the Soul stuff with him yesterday, and it felt terrible because I was getting visions of, he's associated with war too. I tend to run that type. I have noticed. And I get giggling, cheering Becker. And it was like I realize now what he was letting me do, but at the time I thought it was very cruel. He used to come my whole life, he's come to me, and I couldn't figure out who this general was. Remember the general I kept telling you guys about? Yeah, Asmodeus. And I'm a soldier in this image last night that he was giving me, and I'm just totally broken down. He's usually World War I or World War II. Or sometimes this war in between. And I know I'm somewhere in Europe and I'm just bawling my eyes out. I've got my hands on my head on my head like this, and I have my head down and I'm just sobbing and crying, and I can't go on and I can't fight anymore because I've hit combat fatigue, and I'm done. I'm done. And he's standing there and he's watching me. And at first it feels like I'm on the muddy ground, it's raining and everything, and then it feels like I'm in this deep, deep ditch, and it just feels like it keeps going deeper. And it was like, I'm here, I'm watching you, but I'm not digging you out of this. You gotta dig yourself out of it. And I was like, I hate you, worst God ever. And I realized what he meant. I had to fight through that. I had to fight through that. We still have this war to fight. He always comes in a Jeep for some reason with me. I don't know why. Don't think if you don't ever see this, you're not dealing with Asmodeus. It's just how my brain works. Um, and it was definitely a thing of, I'm watching you, but this is your fight. This is your battle. And today I was fighting that again, and then just Odin came up to me and he said, I hope you realize all of your priorities have changed, and you've changed remarkably, even though you don't see it, because of Asmodeus. I'm like, what? He goes, no. He says, we couldn't. I've never been a slob, but I can tend to lie or lean on my disabilities at times to not do stuff I don't want to, like chores. And he's like, he came into your life, you clean this place like it's a hotel because, of some of his associations, or an army barrack. And he said he came into your life, you take even greater pride and care in cooking than you do with Loki. And Loki's not offended because your teachers, if they can find the teacher that will teach you, and I'm not crying you are, they will send you to that teacher. They will drag you by the collar to that teacher. They want to find the teacher that can teach you that lesson. And they're like, well, you have become tidier, you are a better cook now, and I learned to cook by getting thrown in the deep end. Little aside, but it'll be worth it. Um, One day, my mother she sat down, she said she wasn't cooking anymore. And I got thrown in the deep end, and I would be here in this kitchen screaming and crying that I didn't know what I was doing. Please help me. And at the time, there wasn't all the YouTube channels and recipes online and everything to help you cook. There were recipes, but they were very primitive, and they assumed you knew how to cook already. There really wasn't much out there that I was finding. It was terrifying because, I was just thrown into the deep end, and my mother would just, rate my food afterwards. And of course, it was terrible because she wasn't helping me. So I learned to cook on my own. I learned to cook on my own. And Asmodeus has kind of, brought out even greater attention to detail and, getting the house clean. But he's the one that brought me around on the hunting. And the funny thing is, now that he's brought me around on the hunting, and we're looking at that pack of hunting games, because Odin's mightily interested. Only because I'm open and receptive. If I wasn't, it wouldn't even be on the table. But since I'm open and receptive, he goes, I would like a lion. And before you yell, those lion hunts, whether we like them or not, that keeps that area going. People can pay. I was just watching a hunting podcast. People have invested $1 million and up to be able to go over there and to hunt the lion and to get a lion and to come back and to have their line. And that helps those people out, and it gives them incentive to not kill the lions on their own for absolutely nothing. When they stop those programs, when they stop lion hunts, as much as we might not like it because they're big predators and Lion King and everything, people have zero incentive to not kill that lion because it's going after their sheep or something, and that sheep or that game or whatever else, even if they're not going to eat it, it's still bringing in, tourism. It's still bringing in hunters that will pay like 750 to go hunt something. So, and but that's it. It's a thing of he's showing me you have to sometimes set your feelings aside of, oh, but it's a lion or it's a fluffy little wolf. And look at how the local people are being impacted and not just go la la la, but that's my totem. And I didn't like that lesson, but I appreciate it. And he's like, you can be both. You can be open to playing these hunting games with us and be open to watching. I'm loving these hunting channels now. Be open to watching these hunting channels and be open to watching people take the pelts and the furs and everything. You be open to this, and you still be conservationist because responsible hunters are actually very passionate conservationists. And I don't want to get into a side about hunting, but Odin's like, he's the one that's bringing out the better person in you. Odin took me so far, Loki took me so far. They're not going anywhere, but Asmodeus is the one to take me further. And in Asmodeus's perfect timing, came across an article that's been out for years, but I never found it in all my searches. I stumbled across it today because I did an Asmodai search, and it double confirmed the sea connection because they always tell you to have at least, for writing and for being journalism, at least have two separate verifiable sources. Try as much due diligence as you can to make sure your second source doesn't just quote the first source. So today that would be copy paste. If it's the same exact text on 10 different sites, that's not verifiable, 10 verifiable sources. It's one. So you have to, make sure that you've got at least two different sources. So, we did that. It explains why he wanted me to bring you guys. There's this amazing aquarium attached to that game we showed you, that art gallery where you go through and all the dinosaurs are roaring and everything else. Explains why I love that. Explains why I'm getting hit over the head with all the sea stuff. I thought it was Njord in that coming through, and yet I would look up and there would never really be Njord there. And vaguely okay, why are you calling me? But it's been a thing of Asmodeus, and he's just the one helping me make these quantum leaps on stuff. And looking back, I try to not have you guys do that because sometimes this practice can bite us. You can have a lot in common with a god, and yet you're not destined to work together, and you can have nothing in common, and you're really destined to work together. So it's not just we have all the same stuff, but horses, gambling, casinos, hunting, because when I was a little girl I wanted to hunt. The sea, all this stuff, it can all. Now, I know a lot of deities that also cover that territory, but it can go back towards Asmodeus. So basically, last night, Odin scruffed me and he said, "This is enough of this." He said, "You keep running towards him, and then at the last minute, you veer away." He said, "He's patient, but I've officially ran out of patience, and I want you two to work together." And so we're definitely stepping that up. And I had told Odin that if he got me that writing check, which is due any day now, I would go ahead and buy him that suite of hunting games. But then I thought, it's more like Asmodeus is stepping forward more, like he's shedding that mask that he's been wearing. He's stepping forward more to a leadership position. And my ear is burning. Hopefully, I'm getting money. Anyhow, he's stepping forward, and I just thought it made me feel calm. It made me feel steady because he's the old god of balancing you out. And I said, tell you what, I know I'm eventually going to get X, Y, and Z. If later this month things look a certain way, you want me to pick up that whole pack. I'd ask you guys that I know I have some Hunters Watch channel. If Hunting Unlimited or whatever the series is called, they got 8 titles on Steam, and it would be kind of hard to miss if that was a good series. It's not multiplayer, so it's not going to kick off my anxiety. I'm not going to have to hyperventilate and worry the whole time, have my head on a swivel, worried about is somebody going to come up and talk to me. My social anxiety is a real thing. So I like that aspect, and I like that it's kind of old school graphics, and I don't need it to be hyper realistic. I really do. And with my bad vision, with my low vision, I am legally blind. It's actually those older graphics are actually better for me because it's easier to pick out the prey. There's not all like 5 billion leaves and filtering light and everything else. I have a really hard time seeing, and it was hard explaining that to an art teacher in college. She said, "Well, why are you drawing that like that?" I said, "Well, you're seeing a tree and you're seeing leaves and light. I'm seeing a green blob. I'm sure it's interesting and beautiful to you, but honestly, it all blurs out to me." I said, I'm vaguely aware that that's there, but unless I'm watching something and I'm really close to my screen here, I can't see the individual stuff. Good luck. As I've told you guys before, if I stand up 50-50 odds of telling you what an object at my feet is, I just don't have the eyesight, which is why I don't hunt. Um, but it's been a thing. It's been a journey. And someone had asked me, by the way, what a great gift is for God. Like they asked Loki, for example, to say thank you. Ask them. Ask them. Every relationship's different. I said, well, I cook a meal. Like I cooked a meal for all of us today. The guys are kind of turning this into a hunting camp, and so we're doing the cooking and we're watching these hunting videos, and um we cooked just canned beef with a can of corn and a can of peas. Threw a bunch of spices in there. Enough fat in that canned beef that we didn't throw anything else in there. A low oven of 250 for 2 hours. Dang, that is good. It has some bread from the gas station. Threw that in there on the bottom, tore it up. Odin can help. I think a lot of people were mad that in that short story I wrote in the community tab that I applied Odin can't help. This is Loki's kitchen, and Loki will thunder. This is Loki's kitchen, and Loki will sometimes not want his brother cooking in his kitchen. Odin can cook. Odin can cook just fine. I know in the lore they say he only drinks wine. He can cook. He can cook, and he can certainly eat his share of food. Believe me. He can cook. Loki's just kind of possessive and pushing everybody else out. But Loki is fond of Asmodeus with me, so he lets Asmodeus help cook. And Asmodeus is a wonderful cook because, I don't care where he picked it up, but he's also got those managerial skills of whether you think he actually runs casinos or hotels or spas or whatever vibe you're getting off of him. He is a good cook. He knows how to throw a meal together. So between him and Loki, it was good. And Odin can't help. Odin can't help. It's just I think the cook in Odin is like, well, too much well game. I'm not helping. I'll do as bad a job as possible, and you'll stop asking me. Except for beef. He loves beef. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, we're having thunderstorms drop out of nowhere all this summer, and I'll tell you what. I can go AccuWeather and they'll be tracking it, but I can go to the Weather Channel and they're like, it's sunny. And I'm like, it ain't sunny. There's thunder and there's sheet lightning and there's rain coming down. Why you tell me it's sunny? So it's weird that these storms aren't being tracked. And this has been going on for weeks. So this is strange. But we hope you guys are staying safe in the heat or the flooding or whatever the heck you got going on. Please stay safe out there, guys. And if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.